time is the #1 struggles that writers face. Finding the time to write, protecting the time to write, and I'm going to share with you my 3 top tips for writing consistently. And before I do, take a moment and in the comments, share what is your top tip. When you think about the seasons where you have been writing consistently or where writing felt easy, what were the things you were doing? What is the advice that you would give to yourself or to another writer? Just take a moment in the comments, share what is your top tip for writing consistently, protecting your time. Okay, here's my top tips. The first one is committing to morning pages. Morning pages is a practice that Julia Cameron talks about, and Julia Cameron has very specific things that she does with her morning pages. It's basically 3 pages, handwritten, stream of consciousness, no grammar, no editing, no judging, just basically vomiting on the page, whatever comes to your mind, 3 pages every morning. And the reason she encourages that is it helps us stay out of our judging critical parts of our brain and just get things out. It can really help us get unstuck. It can help us process. We may even be surprised by what bubbles up on the page. And so for me, morning pages varies depending on my season. In some seasons, my morning pages is writing for 5 minutes. In other seasons, my morning page is the 3 pages handwritten. And so there's flexibility there for you, but think about what is something small you can commit to doing each day as a writer. And then the second tip I have for you is putting your writing times on the calendar or having a daily routine of when you're writing. In my perfect world, I would have a routine where I wake up, I walk the dog, and no one talks to me, and then I come to my office and I write for 2 or 3 hours and then emerge into the real world. And it's funny because I was reading a fictional story on, not Jack London, on Ernest Hemingway, and he actually told his wife, don't talk to me in the mornings, like that's my writing time. So he would wake up, they'd have silence, and then he'd go work for 3 to 4 hours and then emerge. And so that would be my perfect world, writing world. But in my real life, I have a son, I have a husband, I'm getting my son to school, he's off for the summer right now. And so having a schedule that is that silent and that focused and that many hours is just not realistic in this season. So for me, putting it on the calendar right now looks like having 2 writing sessions a week where I'm going to protect those. I'm going to do everything I can to set Eli up for independence and not interrupting me for that designated time, which I put an hour. And we'll see how it goes. But putting it on the calendar, having that visual commitment for your writing, and then maybe even telling people about it. So for me, that means telling John and Eli, hey, this hour, please don't interrupt me. I'm going to be focused on writing. Because any time that we are trying to switch tasks or someone talks to us, we're not just losing those minutes of interruption, we're losing minutes on both sides to get back into the focus, get back into the flow. So my second tip is put it on the calendar, that visual reminder, and then tell people about it so that they can be on board. The third tip I have for you to protect your time is to protect your time. So there are going to be interruptions, there are going to be urgent things that come up, and so often we can use those things as a procrastination from our writing because we think, oh, I can write later, writing's easy, it's, we put it off. Sometimes we put it off to the less ideal times of the day when our brains are tired. And so I really encourage you, protecting your time means that anything that comes up to pull you out of the writing time, to have you put that time towards something else, not your writing, really think about, can I just delay this for my writing time and then trust that this other thing will get done and there'll be time for it? A tangible example of that is I have a decent amount of client work every week, and it's so easy for me to every morning to say, oh, this client work is coming due, I'm going to work on it. And that too often is my habit. As soon as I'm at my desk, I jump into client work. But here's what I know about myself. The client work is going to get done. Whether I take an hour to write first or I don't, the client work's going to get done because I will make it happen. And so with my brain, if I can just say, you know what, there are these other things, some of them are pressing, some of them do have to get done today, but I'm going to trust that if I dedicate and commit this time to writing, those things will get done. And I love how Lisa in our group talks about tithing her time to God. And so our writing time really is using those gifts that He's given us. It's trusting Him in the process. And so to protect the time, what are the things that you can put off instead of the writing always being the thing you put off, and just protect that writing time? Okay, so the quick recap. My 3 top tips for writing is commit to morning pages, whatever that looks like for you. Put it on your calendar so you have a visual reminder. And then 3, protect the time. What can you bump and do later instead of always bumping your writing?